are the ghost!
You're trespassing.
Hello, I'm Jasmine Jack with the Midday News. Ground has been broken on the first of the priority sites identified under the police housing project, which will provide hundreds of single and married quarters to support growing police numbers around the country. Speaking after the groundbreaking ceremony at Gordon's Barracks in Port Moresby on Thursday and Kimininga Barracks in Mount Hagen on Monday this week, Commissioner of Police David Manning said the new housing is an essential component in rebuilding the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. Manning said the RPNGC is growing at a fast rate with a reach of over 10,000 personnel in the coming years. He said police personnel must have the support they need to do their jobs better. He said the priority is to increase the available accommodation for graduating recruits and to move out the housing that have fallen into disrepair. The Commissioner added that Australia has invested 37 million Australian dollars, approximately around 100 million kina, into the program under the PNG Australia Bilateral Security Agreement. Chief Justice Sir Gibbs Salika, in providing an update about the progress of the new courthouse complex, indicated that the buildings are complete and they should start moving in 2 weeks' time. The opening will be held in the last quarter of 2024 as they await confirmation from high-profile guests, including King Charles III, who has already been sent an invite for the opening.
The King is, hopefully His Majesty will be in our area, in our region, in the final quarter of this year. He will be, I hope he comes or he's available and well enough to travel to CHOGM meeting in Samoa in October. So if he does come for that meeting, then we will try to get him over here at that time.
Flying across the highlands of Papua New Guinea, a Royal Australian Air Force C-27J Spartan conducted airlift operations in support of our close partner, the PNG Defence Force and PNG government. Part of the Defence Pacific Air Programme 2024, the aircraft from number 35 Squadron has supported PNGDF troop movements, delivered essential supplies to remote areas, and strengthened this special partnership. DPAP is an Australian government program to increase presence and the sovereign aviation needs of the southern West Pacific. C-27J pilot Flight Lieutenant Ben Howlett explained that using the C-27J Spartan, the ADF is able to access fields in both the coastal areas and highlands, as well as the islands around PNG. He said the C-27J can access harsher fields and lends itself very well to airlift operations, including humanitarian and disaster relief. DPAP and 35SQN also assisted the PNG government deliver emergency relief supplies during the recent earthquake in the East Sepik region. Vice-Chancellor of the University of Technology, Dr. Ora Ranagi, is adamant that the engineering program in the university are Australian standard. Dr. Ranagi stated this during the DNS Forum, where the university is co-hosting the workshop. He confirmed that he is focusing on building infrastructure and the university's curriculum to international standards.
And So any resources that are required to improve the standard of living, that is my desire, that is my drive. So I'm happy to continue to host the .DNS. I know that our international partners are advising us to keep it at the university as an autonomous body and the institution which is free of impact from other influence from other sources.
In a step towards financial inclusion, the Gulf province was thrilled to open the Mama Bank branch in Kerma town this week. Prime Minister James Marape officiated at the occasion. The launch coincided with the launch of the Kerma District SME and marks a new era for the district in expanding its financial and SME sectors, promoting economic empowerment in the province. During the launch, Mr. Marape acknowledged Mama Bank and shared that the expansion will facilitate greater financial inclusion and empower local women to thrive in this transformative journey towards inclusive banking for Gulf women.
Market, selling her buns, her broccolis, her cabbage. In the night, my mother would be doing sewing, so she's sewing up Mary blouses. And I'm sitting there, look at a hooliman selling Mary blouses to ladies who are trying to buy Mary blouse. But at the end of December and January, 1989, December 1990, January, before I received my offer to go to university for first year, I had 3,000 kina for my mother.
In regional news, the government has released its future gas strategy, saying more gas will be needed as Australia works towards achieving net zero carbon emissions.
Is seeking to transition to net zero emissions by 2050. And as you mentioned, the government has released its strategy painting a picture of what role gas will play in that transition. It has been deemed controversial by many. It shows that gas will remain an important source of energy through to 2050 and beyond. We did hear from Resources Minister Madeleine King a little earlier. She says that new sources of gas supply are needed to meet demand during that transition. She says that means continued exploration, investment and development into that sector. She says she also wants gas to be affordable, but reliable supply and investment is needed. We also heard from the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese a little earlier today. Here's some of what he had to say about the strategy.
What we seek to do is to provide a Commonwealth framework going forward. That's what we've done with our future gas strategy. And I think it's a very positive announcement that we've made today. It makes it clear that our future gas strategy is consistent with achieving net zero by 2050, and indeed it's a necessary component of achieving net zero by 2050 as well.
So tell us, Chantal, what's been the reaction?
Well, Lorna, for the government, announcing that they're going to be extracting or using more gas was always going to put them at odds with climate experts and many others. We have heard from the Greens, the crossbench, environment groups and energy economists who aren't happy with this new strategy. Many in the climate space are saying that the top priority should be to use less gas by moving to cheaper energy sources. We did hear from the head of advocacy for the Climate Council, Dr. Jennifer Rayner, a little earlier. Here's some of what she had to say.
The Albanese government really has a choice here. It can back clean industries, clean energy and a future made in Australia that sees us take our place in a net zero global economy, or it can back new gas, but it can't do both.
We also know that this strategy has caused some unrest within Labor. We have seen a statement posted to X by Labor MP Josh Burns a little earlier. He said we need to continue to move towards low emission technology, not prolong fossil fuels. He says that in his opinion, not a cent of public money should be spent on new gas or resources projects that don't help Australia transition to low emissions economy.
Have you ever had a henna tattoo? They are hugely popular in India, where the plant-based dye is used to create beautiful and intricate designs on the skin that lasts only a couple of weeks. Here in Australia, it is still unfamiliar to some people, something Halitha Khan, who now lived in Devonport, Tasmania, is working hard to change.
Never imagined that I would be having my own henna business. It was just out of love and passion. That's how henna was for me. The Tasmanian people, their response towards me doing henna tattoos for them is so welcoming. So I want to make it popular in Tasmania. I really want to do that. Everyone does henna back in India. Everyone. There's no wedding which goes on without having the bride glammed up completely with henna. If there's a festival, the first thing that the girls get done is their henna. That's very important back in India. I have been in Tasmania for a year now. The first market that I did, I was very nervous and very scared. I didn't know how people would react to henna body art. But I started at 4 and I didn't look up until it was 8:30. The response was so huge and I loved it. There are people who come to my table and they ask me, what is this stuff? So it's always very interesting for me to let new people know about what henna is. It's what I enjoy the most doing. So I really think that people who enjoy getting henna done will also like to learn it. If you just have that passion to do henna with so much of love in what you're creating, then that's enough to be a henna artist. I just love doing henna.
In sports, a fiery battle is looming this weekend when the East New Britain Egmark Gurriers face off with their 2022 Grand Final foes, Croton Hela Wigmen, in round 5 of the Digicel ExxonMobil Cup at the Santos National Football Stadium. This primetime match kicks off at 3 p.m. Sunday. Interestingly, both teams currently share 5 points apiece, on with the points table, with Wigmen having slight edge on percentage, sitting in 4th place, and Gurriers in 5th at the end of round 4. And that's been the news update. More to come at 6 p.m. Bye now.